It is January 4th, 2025, which means that it is my 23rd birthday. Somehow it feels even more insignificant than my 22nd birthday, which felt pretty insignificant. I feel like, as the days go on and you get older and older, birthdays, matter less and less. The cool part about my birthday being so close to the new year is the fact that I can kind of just recap 2024 and just say that that's also my 22nd year around the planet, because that's true. My 22nd year around the planet, I feel like, was a pretty, I like to call it a transitional year. I think there's a lot of stuff that I did, and a lot of that stuff had to do with me kind of just figuring things out. The first half of the year, I was doing Monday Mornings with Kyle Reed, which was a show that I was kind of very clear about the fact that I was just kind of doing it because I, didn't really know what to do with my content at that point. My goal was to do that show once a week for the entire year. I mean, I kind of did it for 6 months out of the year, which is still pretty impressive, one video a week in 6 months. But, eventually I decided, what, I want to do these videos where I make content about art and artists for artists to kind of inspire and motivate other creatives. I mean, that lasted for a total of 3 videos until I realized that, this is kind of boring and I don't really want to do it because it requires a lot of research and it's not really the type of research that I'm into. And then eventually I was just like, what? Maybe going back to the music channel isn't such a bad idea. I feel like the music channel provided the music channel provided me a way to kind of discover new music, and that's something that I really missed about the music channel. And so I decided to go back to it. I'm also going to be streaming in the new year, but we'll talk about that later, I guess. That was 22-year-old Kyle's year in content of very transitional, of going from this show to doing 3 videos that I'm very proud of, those artist videos, and then eventually going back to the music channel. But that wasn't the only transitional piece of my life that happened in 2024. I was also, my job in general was also very, transitional, I guess you could say. I started off the year very excited about it. I was working with my friend and his business, and I was helping him grow it. I traveled a little bit, went to a conference. Things were very exciting. The business was growing really quickly. And then probably about halfway through the year, I kind of lost, I wouldn't say motivation. I just kind of lost, I realized that, I don't like clocking in somewhere, I just didn't want to, have to do what somebody else tells me to do. And so I thought, maybe I'll give it a couple months. Maybe this feeling will pass. The feeling did not pass. And so at beginning of November, I told my boss, I said, hey, I'm going to quit at the end of the year. And I did just that. I quit at the end of the year. And so now I am 23 and unemployed, as I like to say, even though technically I'm not unemployed. I'm working on my own business, basically doing the same stuff that I was doing at the other company. I'm still just doing social media marketing, but for clients. So if you're someone who happens to be watching this and needs some social media marketing, hit me up. And then I think the most significant thing that I did this past year was I worked a lot on music on my 22nd year on this planet. I released Corporate House, which is my debut album as Alexander's Radio Experiment, which I've talked about a shit ton on this channel already. Not only did I release that album, but I also made an entire movie to accompany that album, and I released that as well. One of the coolest musical projects, actually the coolest musical project that I've done to this date. And I also worked on a bunch of new music. I don't know the exact number, but I'd like to say I got about 30 to 40 songs that are either done or in the process of being done that I made this past year. And I think that's really impressive. And I think that's something that I often forget about because I haven't really worked on music a whole lot in the last couple of months of 2024. But it's something I would like to get back into in the next year. I've got a whole album that needs to be mixed. The album's done. It just needs to be mixed. I also have an EP that's already mixed and mastered. I just got to play with the levels a little bit. There's really no excuses. I have shit that's ready to be released. I just need to get past the finish line. So that was also really impressive. And I think probably the most significant change of my life in my 22nd year of living on this planet was the fact that I moved back up to Oregon. I love the environment. I love the weather. I love how green it is and being more closer to nature than I was in San Diego. And I've got really good friends up here. I got really good community. We also live in a great house. Look at all this space. Look at all this. This is called the lab, man. This is where I get to sit up all day long in the lab, man. And it's been really great so far, and I honestly don't see myself moving back to California anytime in the near future. I also this year ran a marathon. That was also a pretty big part of my 2024 experience. I crushed my goal, by the way. I wanted to do it under 4 hours. I did it in 3 hours and 33 minutes. I might make a separate video about that. I mean, I don't know. People will ask me to. I didn't really do anything interesting. I just ran, so not really much to talk about there. 22 was kind of, it felt insignificant, but I feel like there was a lot of things that I did that kind of, you know, set me up for the year that is to come, and it's kind of set me up for my future. I feel like a little bit, you know, like the fact that I'm going to be, you know, I'm starting my own business is a pretty significant thing that's happening this year. I already got a client, which is really cool. So I'm not broke, but like that's something that's going to set me up for the future, because like now I have more freedom with my time. I can literally work whenever I want, wherever I want, whatever I want to do, I can do it. And you know, the real goal was to start this business so I had a little bit more freedom with my time, so I could work more on content. And that's something I'm going to be doing a lot this year. As a 23-year-old, is I'm going to be streaming a lot. I've got this whiteboard over here that has kind of my goals and plans and stuff, and you know, when it comes to streaming, I've got a bunch of ideas that I will do for live streams that I'm very excited for. And I want to stream a lot, and I want to post a lot on YouTube, all on the music channel, unfortunately, but I might do some videos like this on this channel, you know, just kind of me rambling and talking about stuff. You know, who's to say what's really to come, you know? If there's anything I've learned about doing content for these past almost 5 years, is that you can't keep me in a cage, so I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I also am very excited to explore more of this wonderful city that I live in. When I moved up here in the second half of last year, I didn't really have a lot of time to explore because I was working 40 hours a week at this job, and then I would immediately clock out and start working on like YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to have like a little bit more freedom with my time, so that way I can go out, you know, explore communities and, you know, build communities too, and, you know, meet new people and really really dive into the culture of this city that I'm very excited about. Overall, I'm very excited for my 23rd year on this planet. Like I said, I kind of did a lot of things in 2024 that kind of I feel like set me up for 2025. And honestly, for years to come. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to sit here and ramble a little bit, and also just tell you guys that it's my birthday. I'm 23 now. I'm getting up there, man. I'm getting up there. And honestly, if you watch this whole thing, then that's kind of parasocial of you. So I'll see you guys later.